All right, picture this. I'm pulling into my driveway after a grueling 14-hour drive, groceries sliding off the seat, dreaming of a cold beer and a view of Lake Serenity when I slam on the brakes. Staring at a massive yellow semi-truck blocking my entire driveway like a steel wall. Before I can process it, Linda Carver, the HOA queen of Willow Lake Estates, Oregon, struts up, clipboard in hand. Red lipstick glaring, telling me my driveway's illegal, and this monstrosity's staying until I pay a $5,000 fine. What I didn't know then was that this petty blockade was the first domino in a criminal empire I'd accidentally knock over, landing me in the crosshairs of an FBI sting and some very dangerous people. Stick around, this story's crazier than a summer storm, and it ends with a showdown you won't believe. Let me set the stage. I'm Nate Harper, 42. A network engineer who's called Willow Lake home for 5 years, drawn to its sparkling shores and quiet streets in this upscale Oregon suburb. My lakefront house, with its wide driveway and private dock, is my sanctuary, hard-earned after years of 80-hour weeks. But Willow Lake's got an HOA, and Linda runs it like her personal fiefdom. I met her the day I moved in, all fake smiles and hairspray, handing me a rulebook thicker than a dictionary. "I'm the face of this community, Nate," she said, voice dripping with self-importance. I nodded, shelved the book, and figured I'd stay off her radar. That was my first mistake. Things were fine at first. I mowed my lawn, paid my dues. Even fixed a community mailbox nobody else bothered with. But 3 months ago, Linda and her husband, Carl, pushed a plan to drain part of the lake for a private golf course. As a lakefront owner, I spoke up at the meeting, saying it'd wreck the ecosystem and our views. They lost the vote, and Linda's been gunning for me ever since, her cold shoulder turning into a vendetta. That night, exhausted from visiting my mom, who's battling cancer, I'm floored by this truck. Linda's waving her clipboard, saying my driveway's 6 inches too wide and the wrong shade of concrete, violating some obscure bylaw. The board voted to block it until you comply, she says, smirking. Rules are rules. I'm stunned. This is my driveway from day one, I argue, voice tight. Show me the paperwork. She shrugs. You'll get it in 10 business days. Park on the street. The street's half a mile away, and I've got groceries melting. My neighbor, Tom Riley, a retired Marine, wanders over, arms crossed. Everything okay, Nate? He asks, eyeing Linda. She brushes him off. Just HOA business, Tom, but he's not buying it. A semi? That's low. Even for you, he mutters. Linda clutches her clipboard, snaps. The board's decision is final, and marches back to her mansion across the street. Tom leans in, voice low. She was snapping pics of your dock yesterday while you were gone. Something's off. I'm rattled, groceries still in hand, knowing this isn't about concrete. It's personal, and it's big. Back home, I unload my stuff and check my security cameras, installed after someone keyed my boat last month. At 5 a.m., Linda's directing the truck driver to block my drive, precise as a drill sergeant. But the real kicker's from midnight the night before. Linda with a guy in a suit I don't recognize, measuring my dock, pointing at the water, scribbling notes. My gut twists, this isn't HOA nonsense. Then an email hits. Multiple violations, listing 12 fake issues, wrong fence height, unapproved shrubs, each with a $100 daily fine. I dig out my closing papers, and sure enough, my driveway matches the approved plans. Linda's lying. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Check HOA financials. Be careful. I'm spooked, wondering who's watching, what's at stake. Tom stops by with a flyer. Linda's plastered them everywhere. My house photoshopped with property values at risk. Screaming I'm a threat to Willow Lake. She's turning folks against you, Tom says. Her husband's knocking doors, saying you'll tank home prices by 20%. I'm trapped, half the neighborhood glaring, and I know I've got to fight back. But how? Next morning, I wake to neighbors gathered around the truck, Linda in the center, gesturing like she's on stage. My cameras catch her spinning tales about my illegal renovations. I try the HOA website for financials, access denied, a technical glitch. I call the management company, get the same excuse. My boss phones, worried. Got an email from a Linda Carver saying you're in a serious HOA dispute. Might be unstable. What's going on? I'm livid. She's hitting my job now. I march to the mailboxes where Linda's holding court with her cronies, the Wilsons and Murphys. You contacted my work? I demand. Her smile's venomous. Just concerned. Nate. Unstable homes breed unstable employees. Mrs. Wilson nods. We're all worried, dear. I snap. Move that truck. Linda. She hisses. Back off, or we'll cut your lake access entirely. The board has powers. I'm shaking, but Tom's daughter, Sarah, works at the county records office. I call him. Can Sarah pull HOA financials? Something's rotten. He's on it. Meanwhile, I find a kid. Tommy Wilson, at my door with a card from his mom, praying you find a better community. They want me gone. Sarah's at Tom's that night, papers spread across his table. Look, she says, pointing to spreadsheets. The HOA's paying $60,000 monthly to Shoreline Solutions, a company owned by Linda, Carl, and some guy named Raymond Frost. My jaw drops. That's embezzlement. Tom nods. And 3 lakefront homes were foreclosed for violations, sold to Frost shell companies dirt cheap. Sarah pulls a map. Your dock's the deepest water access, perfect for big boats. That's why they're after you. A USB arrives from Linda's ex-assistant, labeled The Truth, with $2.5 million in fake invoices funneled offshore. I'm reeling. This isn't just a grudge. It's a criminal empire. Then my doorbell rings. It's Agent Elena Cruz, FBI, badge gleaming. We need to talk about your HOA, she says, voice low. It's a front for money laundering. And your property's in their way. Cruz lays out photos, Linda and Carl meeting shady types by the lake, including Frost, the suit from my footage. They're cleaning dirty money through fake HOA contracts, she says. Your driveway blocks their smuggling route, drugs, guns, stolen goods via an underwater tunnel system. I'm floored. My driveway? Cruz nods. You built it 5 years ago, right on their access point. They've been trying to push you out ever since. She needs my camera footage, which caught boats docking at odd hours, and asks me to play dumb, keep pushing Linda about the truck. We're close, but Frost is dangerous, she warns, handing me a panic button. Use this if things go south. That night. A text from an unknown number. Cancel tomorrow's HOA meeting, or your house burns. I forward it to Cruz, who sets up surveillance. But at midnight, glass shatters downstairs. Someone's inside. I hit the panic button, text Tom, help, intruders, and grab my phone, heart racing. Voices, Linda and Carl, whisper in my office. Find his financial printouts, Linda snaps. Frost says if those dock deliveries leak, we're done. I hide in my closet, recording. Check upstairs for his laptop, Carl says. Footsteps climb. Linda's in my room, flashlight sweeping. He's here, the bed's warm, she hisses. My phone buzzes, Tom, cops 3 minutes out. Linda's at the closet door when Carl yells, found a flash drive. She bolts downstairs. It's locked, he says. Take it and the laptop, she orders. Frost wants it gone. Headlights flash, cops. I flush the toilet, slam a door to spook them. He's up there. Linda screams. They charge up, but sirens wail. The door splinters as Carl breaks through, Linda lunging for my phone. I dodge, clutching the panic button. You're done, Nate, she snarls, deleting my recording. Cops burst in, shouting, drop it. Linda and Carl shove me, fleeing out back, but Tom tackles Carl in my garden, nose bloodied. Tried to run, Tom grins. FBI swarms, cuffing them both. Cruz surveys my trashed house. They knew we were watching, she says, grim. There's a leak. She confirms the HOA was built for crime, tunnels designed 30 years ago by Carl's dad, a shady contractor. My dock's the key access point. You're central now, Nate, she warns. Frost won't stop. Next day, Linda's allies, the Wilsons, rally neighbors. Waving flyers calling me an FBI snitch, ruining property values. My lawn's a circus, folks glaring like I'm the crook. Cruz texts, stay inside. Frost coming. Then a note slides under my door with a USB, Linda's ex-assistant. She kept 2 sets of books. It reads, the files show $2.5 million embezzled, fake companies, offshore accounts. Tom's across the street, packing a moving truck, terrified. They smashed our windows, threatened our kids, he says, voice breaking. Linda forced us to sign over land for a fake park. 8 families got the same. I show him the USB. We're exposing this tonight. I say. We call an emergency community meeting at the clubhouse, 7 p.m. Over 60 residents show, even folks who'd left. Drawn by whispers of truth. I'm prepping slides when Tom rushes in. Linda's brother's outside, He doesn't live here. The lights flicker out, generators hum, and a diesel roar shakes the room. Through the window, that semi's charging the building, aiming to crush us. Screams erupt, kids clinging to parents. I freeze, headlights blinding, but FBI vans screech in, blocking the truck. It swerves, slamming a wall. Agents swarm, yanking Raymond Frost from the cab, bloodied but snarling. Crew storms in. Everyone's safe. I plug my laptop into the projector, voice steady. You need to see this. Spreadsheets flash. $2.5 million stolen. Fake contracts. Foreclosed homes sold to Frost shells. Gasps fill the room. Tom speaks, voice cracking. They threatened my kids. Forced us to sell land. Linda Wilson, Linda's ally, stands, pale. I thought Nate was the problem. Victoria lied. Crew shows satellite maps tunnels under the lake, built for smuggling. My dock their main gate. Nate's property stopped their operation, she says. FBI divers pull crates, drugs, guns, blackmail files on judges, cops, CEOs. The meeting stretches past midnight. Neighbors sharing stories, Mrs. Rivera sobbing, they took my home over a flower bed. The truth binds us, fear fading. Frost cuts a deal, exposing a syndicate spanning 3 states. Linda and Carl face life sentences for fraud, laundering, conspiracy. A crooked judge, 3 officials, and dozens more fall. 6 months later, Willow Lake's reborn. Tom's our new HOA president. Slashing rules, using recovered funds for a playground, clubhouse fixes, lake cleanup. My driveway's legal, the semi sold to repay scammed families. I'm on my dock, kids splashing, neighbors grilling. Linda Wilson bringing cookies, saying, I'm sorry I believed her. I laugh. If I'd let that truck stay, they'd still be running drugs. Sunset glows, and I feel it. Peace, not just for me, but for us all. A small stand saved a community. But yesterday, a call comes from a nearby town. Our HOA's squeezing us out, a woman says. Heard you took down a giant. Can you help? I pause. Lake shimmering, wondering if this fight's really done. So, what do you think? Where did Linda go wrong? Thinking a truck could scare me? Hiding a cartel in an HOA? Or believing lies last forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your HOA nightmares, and let's talk about what makes a community worth saving. Hit that like button if you're here for justice. Subscribe for more stories where truth wins, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening.